just had the jingle and then we just started on the show.
I feel like listening to it would be weird if we didn't acknowledge it. You know?
Yeah, we're just suddenly just talking. Like they just stumbled across us.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Sweet. Well, cheers, man.
That should be the intro.
Yeah. Cheers, man. Cheers.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Do you know we find like a podcast on the run? Like we're just doing it in like the back of a van, like the next day we're in front of a green screen, and we could play like an ISIS beheading video in the background. So you know what I mean? Because it's like we're constantly being chased. It's just being served cease and desist.
I like the sound there. It's just like you and I just sort of just coming out of like petrol stations, just going like watching it.
I like
pops over here for the for the cameras.
I feel like that's kind of going to be like a measure of success for me. Is like when we get to like a cease and desist.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just like not even for violating any kind of law, just in general. Like if there's ever a petition to be like, hey, stop what the fuck they're doing. Like I'm going to be pretty keen to like.
Certainly,
I'll sign it.
Yeah, as soon as you get second used on the news, for, like just by your last name, that's when you know you made.
Yeah, that's when you know you've made. Yeah, or you've killed your entire family. You know, like Roberts is alleged to have murdered his entire family, starting with his children and then moving on to his ex-wife. And he's just sitting in his cell, just like, I made it.
Just doing a podcast to the wall. Yeah, so
that kind of be even funny, like. If I like, God forbid, like knock on wood, but like if I ever had to go to prison for anything, I would find it fucking hilarious if there was just a guy in the next cell being like, "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back down to the Thunder Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Remy the Ice Stabber. This week we've got a lot to talk about. Governor Cuomo once again found sexually assaulting a homeless guy. You know, I'm just listening, like, you know, it's just, you know,
it's basically just doing crime news to like fellow immigrants.
Yeah, it would be funny if it was like crime like in the prison because it's like such a small community, I imagine. But it's just like, yeah, Rico the Mexican got stabbed by Alejandro
again.
Yeah, third time this week. Wow, he's really going for some kind of record.
Fucking yeah, it's fucking right.
Would it be funny if the other inmates got him like a megaphone or something, so you could just do the podcast like from his cell, but like everyone can hear it?
I feel like they would eventually sort of like jump on and like even the wardens would be like, this guy ruined the microphone. He's got his own machine.
Yeah, like a bootleg podcast that's just filmed on some like warden's phone and he's just uploading it. He's making millions. The guy has no idea.
He's going to kill this guy.
Could you sue him for that though? Like if you were in prison and you were doing a podcast to the wall and some guy recorded it without your knowledge, and then it became like such a super successful podcast, like overtook the Joe Rogan experience. Like
it'd be funny if there's like an intellectual sort of intellectual property contract.
Then that guard ends up going to prison for like intellectual property theft, and then he ends up doing a podcast like to the wall, and it's just like a cycle.
How would you do in jail? How do you think you do it? Well, what would be your strategy instead of just like not getting raped?
This feels like you're preparing for something. Like what's that movie with Will Ferrell where he's like gotta go to prison? Yeah, he just give it hard as a trainer.
I'm just no, that's not right off.
I feel like the key, if you ever have to go to jail, is to go to like white collar jail. You know what I mean? Like everyone like avoided taxes or some shit. Like you know when El Chapo like got arrested and they're like, you're gonna go to jail, and he's like, yeah, I'll go to jail, but like you gotta let me build it.
You want to go to Wolf on Wall Street jail. You want to be in a tennis. You want to have a tennis court.
Yeah, a tennis court.
But let's say that's not Wolf on Wall Street jail. Straight into
Swedish jail, where it's basically like a motel. You know, like there's amenities and shit. Some guy called Hans maybe touches your dick every once in a while. Like it's it's civil.
It's civil.
Yeah, I think it was Sweden or like Denmark or something. Like if you escape, they just won't try to catch you again. Because they're like, yeah, it's just.
I think that's Germany. It's your right of, your right of. It's like a human right to want to be free.
Yeah,
I think I read that.
Yeah,
as well.
Can you imagine that? It's just like, yeah, look, some German guy's getting in front of the news. He's got to do PR for like the prison system. He's like, guys, look, I mean, I know he killed his whole family, but he has a right to be free. He escaped from the prison. He didn't hurt nobody. Yes, his girlfriend is pregnant again, but they're speaking in Germany, like recently Germany was like, hey, they took a referendum on like nationalizing housing. But they're basically just gonna like seize. Yeah, I just want everyone to know that we don't fact check on this podcast.
Oh, definitely not.
But no, apparently they like nationalized housing. which basically means they're gonna like seize all these houses
Okay.
and like nationalize it. And I was like, nothing has ever gone wrong with like Berlin and nationalism. Like I feel like this is trending upwards. We're going to a good place with this.
Are Germany playing something again?
Yeah.
Should we have heeded Norman's on his warnings?
Yeah.
You see his Germany bits?
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah, like if you, I'm gonna butcher it. By the way, cheers to Norm Macdonald, the late and great. It was his birthday yesterday. He would have turned 62.
Jesus.
So like when you die, you kind of get like 2 birthdays. It's like you get like the date, like from that day onwards. You get when you died. All right, today we remember Norm Macdonald. And then when he actually has his birthday, which would have been his birthday, he gets remembered then as well.
I feel like they'll do that if they fucking hate you. You know what I mean? Like you have your birthday and you're like, hey, yeah, fucking Gary, you know what I mean? He was a son of a bitch. And then like
it's sarcastic, right?
Yeah. And then every time they pass the day, they're like, yeah, he's in the cold hard ground, you fucking piece of shit.
Happy birthday, motherfucker.
Yeah, surprise, motherfucker.
Well, I think with that reasoning, people who hate the Queen are gonna have a field day. The bitch has 2 podcasts. She has 2
she has 2 podcasts.
I was about to say podcast.
She's got 2 podcasts. I would like to address all of the
I feel like it would be like a higher end sort of podcast. Like
Yeah.
it would only be available to like that level, the Epstein level.
Yeah, the Epstein. There's an island somewhere with Epstein, Tupac, and Michael Jackson, and he's just like he's just listening to the Queen, like just fucking ranting about shit.
Mm-hmm.
I keep it 100. And you're like, well, I'd be keen for that. I'd subscribe.
I would definitely subscribe.
I'd pay that Patreon.
No matter what. Else.
Yeah, she's just like, dude, that whole family. What a fucking wild place. Yo, family barbecues must be awkward as fuck for that family.
Just with Philip and Megan.
Yeah, because the whole thing that like Diana got murdered or whatever. Like it was a conspiracy. Like, can you imagine if that was true? And like now he's just gotta stand there like fucking grilling.
Well, do you know
with like all of them, like you know how fucking weird that would be.
Their children, little children, like
like because like you're the prince and shit. Like, how do you ask that shit? How do you be like, hey Nana, like.
Just on the low,
yeah,
off record.
Yeah, it's not like he's a fucking Uber driver that just learned how to drive. Like the other day, like they don't just let anybody. Like, here's the thing, because like growing up in New Zealand, it's such like a small place, and there's like literally like everything is like a dead end career. So like
you're stuck.
It's hard to conceptualize, but there's like legit careers for like everything. Like, if you want to be a driver, like if you just want to drive. I'm even talking about like stunt shit, like Fast and Furious shit. I mean, like if you just want to drive.
You want to be a truck driver? Perfect.
No, not even just a truck. Like if you just want to drive a stand, and then you just keep following that career, you just keep working your way up, and eventually you'll be like driving the president around. Kind of, you know what I mean? Like you could just be a driver, like really high end.
Right. Yeah. You've got fucking 10 years experience, and you just move from job to job, sort of thing.
Yeah. Some super rich guy who's got to like do a conference call in the back of his fucking, you're driving some fucking Maybach. Like that's the thing that like for Rolls Royces for me as well, because like back in the day, like because they're trying to make themselves younger now, but like Rolls Royce was always that like legacy brand that was just like, no, you don't drive a Rolls Royce, like your driver drives the Rolls Royce,
right? Okay.
And you just fucking sit. But like now they're putting like power engines in them and shit, and they're just like, yes, you could fucking do donuts, as the kids say, But like that's kind of the weird thing to me, like you could just be a driver, you know what I mean? Even something as
I think I'm missing a point.
Me too.
What is the point?
No, it's just weird. No, but it's like the guy who was driving Diana couldn't have just been any driver. You know what I mean? He would have had to be like
I'm back with you. All right.
Like hella driver. You know what I mean?
You're talking. This guy's pissed because that's what it was, right? Was it a drunk driver that crashed into them, or was he a drunk driver?
I think they crashed into like a pole or something.
They were
one of the supports in the tunnel.
They were all pissed, but even pissed, this guy could be on meth and he's killing a baby driver.
Yeah. I don't think he was on meth, but like I think the guys that crashed them. Yeah.
I'm saying like that is the level of like driving he has under his belt.
Oh yeah.
The guy could be on meth.
He could be on meth.
And he's still baby driver.
It's probably a prerequisite for the job. They're just like, hey, listen, like
I bet it fucking is.
Yeah, they're just like, listen, I know you hella drive, but listen, there's some cones. I need you to like slide parallel park in.
Smoke this.
Yeah. Listen, if you've never done rock before, it's gonna sting the lungs a little, but like, you're not gonna die.
This is a 6-month course. Driving on there.
Yeah. The last 2 months is just rehab. We're gonna strap you to a bed. It's gonna let it come down. Sucks. But
back to that though. Diana, I think she was definitely murdered. I think it's basically like the same sort of facts level with like Clinton was a murderer. Like Clinton murdered a guy.
I just want MI6 and the CIA to know that I'll agree with whatever you say.
You can definitely quote us though, as well.
You can quote him.
I'll be the quote guy.
Yeah. And I come in there just like, yeah, about Josh, it was fucking terrible. He killed himself. 2 shots to the back of the head. I don't know how we did it. The first one must have incapacitated him. Like, oh shit, did you hear about the guy? You know, that explains so many people. But you ever hear about that dude? That it was like some MI6, like legit, like MI6 agent. And then like they walked into his apartment one day and they were like, hey, Greg. Hey, Greg. Shit. So they just walk into the apartment and shit, and then they walk into the bathroom and they see a legit duffel bag with like a padlock on it in the bathtub. And they're like, hey, Greg.
Padlock, no, Jesus. Double murders.
Shit. And it turns out he was like all contorted, like inside the duffel bag. And then London police were like, that's a suicide, bro. I don't know how else to describe that.
He's like a magician almost. One of those guys that like get out of like all those locks.
That's
a
just
magician,
like
right?
like Houdini with like a raging erection. But like, no, it was crazy too, because it just like, because there was like people even tried to like verify. They were just like, hey, he had a weird fetish. Like he handcuffed himself to a bed, and then he had to call for help, and then his neighbor came in and had to help him like unfucking ravel himself.
I don't know if you've read British tabloids before, but it sounds like directly like out of a British tabloid.
Oh yeah,
those things are outrageous.
It happened in London too. So like they were like all over it.
Yeah, I think with like MI6 called into our comments and I was saying, quote me, they'd definitely take the piss out of it. They'd be like, they would get me with a meth drug.
Yeah. They'd be like,
that was unmanaged.
Josh Jones was found face down on a Buick with meth in his ass. Yeah, next to a duffel bag.
The black dildos there really besmirched my.
Sources close to him say that it is completely unrelated to anything he's ever said or done. Yeah.
All these notes just like coming out as gay and.
Yeah, wouldn't it be funny if they had to like write a whole diary, like, dear diary, today I put a fist in my ass and then a cactus because I want everyone to know that I'm mentally ill, like I'm completely deranged. You know, just like it just sounds innocuous shit. Like I don't like sprinkles. Like I love the taste. I hate the consistency. Somebody please kill me.
If there's anything that you tell my parents, it's the fact that I was into, bestiality.
Yeah. That would be all the horrific things that people will find out about us when we die. Because we're not going to die for like at least another 50, 60 years.
Hopefully, 60 years.
Yeah, people die, mate.
20 years. We'll be 100. Oh no, I just can't count. I had 80 something. That's 100 something. I mean, I had a conversation with a guy I used to work with, and he said when he gets to 80, I think it might have even been fucking 60 for some reason. He was a sad guy, but as soon as he gets to 80, he just wants to go on a binge until he has. I think the way he was thinking right there is he was never going to have a family. Right. He was never going to have to long for that longevity. Excuse the pun. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Like, how old do you want to get? Like, to what level of derangement would you find?
There's a university in like Israel or something that like just found a cure to like for aging. Like they put you in like this hyperbaric chamber and like pump you full of shit, and it basically like stops the ends of your DNA from like decomposing, which is like how you age over time. Because like when DNA replicates, it's just like a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy, so you can like hold this fucking like shit. You know what I mean? And they stopped that shit. So, and you only have to do it like once or twice, then it just stops it forever, apparently.
So you're saying your DNA literally fizzles out, like like sort of like the end of string. No, that's literally what happens. That's literally how we age. And so like it's quite symbolic.
Yeah. So what they've done is they basically like dip the end of it in wax. It's just never going to come apart.
They fucking burnt it like you do, like your fizzled out like shoestring.
Yeah, like fucking seltzer that's on the drop. You just like, on the fucking foot. But no, dude. So like, if I'm 80 and I look like 35, okay,
Let's do it, man.
you know, like I can be 150 if I look like 35, fucking sexy looking. Shit, but how weird would it be like bang a girl that's like old enough to be like great, and even if she's 50.
My mind's going back to like I think a horror that I've seen where like this girl's, it's either a girl fucking, no, it's definitely a guy fucking like this girl who looks young, but she's this old lady.
Oh shit, yeah.
What's that one?
Yeah, I know the movie.
This is your forte. You majored in this, didn't you? Horror fucking.
yeah. The fossil fucker.
Fossil fornication.
Yeah, no, it's Elizabeth. It's like something. I know the movie.
Yeah,
Is it Elizabeth?
Well, the name.
The name, yeah. Yeah. It'd be funny if it was just called like the Benjamin Button. It's like, you know, we just got it completely wrong. Yeah, no, but it'd be weird because like you'd be alive 300 years and you're like date a woman who's like 56 or like 150 and she looks 23, but she's still like the generational gap between them is like huge.
The Dorian Gray syndrome.
Yeah.
That guy's a motherfucker.
I'm not too much time, I was like 13 listening to that song, being like, you know, just like in my bed, yeah, James Blunt just being like, it's tears and rain.
I'm glad you're a James Blunt fan. He's you're basically the same age. I mean, I'm glad that James Blunt reached New Zealand. Well, he fucking reached everywhere, didn't he? James Blunt.
Yeah, imagine so. Yeah, he had that one song and it just fucking propelled him to stardom.
You know, he's kind of a funny guy, the old James Blunt. Like he's not hilarious, but he's very dry. You know, like on Instagram.
Right.
He's got a bit of a following. Then he just like gives like these really sort of blunt replies on Twitter, like people trying to give him shit. Kind of like Frankie, I want to say Muniz from Malcolm in the Middle.
Okay, yeah. I love that one tweet where he's just like pain. And it's like someone's overlaid it with like him like crying in an interview. It's so fucking good. It's so fucking good. Yeah, no. Yeah, apparently he fucking claps back a big word.
Yeah, no, there's just like these. Yeah, no, he goes a lot further than James Blunt, I would say. But like James Blunt just gives like these really sort of like half-assed replies.
Yeah.
To people who try and give him shit.
Yeah.
And he's got a bit of a following. He leans into it.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. He's good, you know. Got fucked with. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
dude. Speaking, he lives in like London or something.
What's that?
He lives in like London or something.
Yeah, I don't think he's been up too much. Like, I think he makes like a few, like he's basically like an old cameo now. Just kind of makes appearances on things. But I don't think he's up too much.
Man, London must look like 28 days later right now. Like all the COVID cases.
I think it's part. Oh, I haven't been like frequenting it. But I mean, how is it at the moment? I thought that was a while back and they got over the hump. They were on a big vaccination drive.
To be honest, I just said that shit.
Oh, I think you're about a year late because, or maybe 6 months late because I've got a buddy originally from England, and so I kind of like keep up to date.
Wouldn't it be funny if it was like a fucking ghost town right now? We're just like, yeah, no, I mean, like I think they're recovered, you know, like I think they're doing good. You know, they're kind of they're back in the fucking saddle, and like just meanwhile in London, it's just like, yeah, fucking like fire tornadoes and shit, like coming down High Street. No, dude, like
they had a big drive, big old vaccination drive, so they're doing well. Yeah,
fair.
Oh, they're doing better than us, certainly.
They're fucking depressing. It's just like, hey guys, we're gonna do fucking stupid Saturday, and I'm like I get it, but it's also like it's felt a bit condescending. You know, hey guys, I'm gonna get vaccinated, and I'm like,
it was just so classic. Like it was like you know, we're all none of us are happy. You've got business, small, big, any size business owner.
Yeah.
Businesses in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
Who are getting fucked, who are not happy. You've got people our age, you've got kids. I would like to say quickly though, if I was going to school, I'd be happy. But if I was a school child, living in an okay household, let's just put that living in an alright household, then I'd be fucking happy. If I had a day off school when I was younger, I used to have to beg my mum to, like, if I was ill, I'm like, I'm fucking ill, and you're like, you'll come home in a body bag before like
Yeah.
you just have like a normal day off. But I'd be fucking killing it right now.
If I was a school age kid that didn't have to do my best Floyd Mayweather impression when my dad got up, like I would absolutely fucking love this been there. But it's kind of weird too, because like I remember on school holidays being like, yay, you know, and then like as soon as I get back to school and I see all the same fucking idiots, I'm just like, woo, fucking like vibing and shit, you know what I mean? Like,
you're back.
everyone turns around, they go, oh my god, ah, and I'm like, ah, and I'm like, ah, you know, just start, you know, making love in the hallway. So, you know, it was great. You know, it was very close times with boys.
I definitely feel. I definitely feel. Do you think that's kind of dependent on like what sort of household you have? Like, were you allow people around? Just that. Did you have like a large friend group, and you kind of all? Did you have like the end of the cul-de-sac sort of like group of fellas that you all run out to the place spotlight?
Yeah, kind of. Like the weird thing is that like, there was no COVID. So you could just do that, you know, you just have sleepovers and shit.
You would.
Oh my god, do you remember sleepovers?
Oh, I still have them.
Yeah. Fuck, I'm just gonna call like everybody and be like, yo, sleepover, you know what I mean? We're just gonna watch like shit movies. And then like, but there's always that moment after 12 o'clock where it gets real deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just like
everyone's kind of tired, like they're just on like the verge of that round.
Like 11:55, everyone's got Cheeto dust in their fingers, and then like 12:06, we're sitting in a circle, you know, in front of the fucking pentagram, you know, and I'm listening about how Charlie got fucking molested.
And you got a dick in your hand, it's not yours.
Yeah, you know, like it's just fucking smoke somewhere, you know what I mean? I hear like fucking big Latin coming from like everywhere and nowhere at once. So, you know, those parts of the sleepovers I think are like a little bit trying.
Yeah,
a little bit challenging.
I miss those.
Same, you know. Do you remember like
just bring them back?
Yeah, bring the Beelzebub, just coming in the vibe. But yeah, imagine having to grow up with like COVID. That'd be fucking weird. But
you wouldn't want to be in one of those punchy households, you know. One of those Floyd Mayweather households that you were just alluding to. I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, I fucking wouldn't. Like, you know, my household was fun, it was tricky. You know, obviously I wasn't dodging any punches. Like, but if the whole family was home, if there were 4 of us, because it was myself, my sister, fuck that.
Yeah, there was like you gotta stand the emotional bleeding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know in Saving Private Ryan when the medics are like there's 3 medics on one guy, and he's just like, no, don't worry about it. Like you're gonna be fine. He's like dismembered and shit, and then he gets shot in the head, and they're just like, give us a fucking chance. Like that. This is kind of what I imagine on like an emotional level, like happening like for like literally anyone growing up. Oh shit!
Literally.
Dude, I was gonna tell you before. I had to do. Fuck, dude, COVID. It has been so annoying. I shit you not. Like I had to do some COVID kind of bitch, bro. Like, cause she's just breathing, and I'm like, the fuck. Like it's just this weird paranoia. Okay, let me tell you something. So I was at Wendy's, right? No, I was at KFC. Right? Catch me out. 11:30, right? I'm vibing. They close at 12. That's how fat I am. Like I know when they close.
Right.
You know.
Well, I mean, you know, you're bored. Let's go. Don't worry about it.
You know, it's what it is. But there I am. I'm just fucking vibing. It's 11:30. You know, they close at 12. You know, I'm getting a little excited. I'm in there, you know, I get to the thing, I tell the good lady what I want. I get to the first window, you know, I fucking pay, everything's amicable.
That's gonna meat in your mouth.
I get that fucking meat in my mouth. I get to the second fucking window, you know, the guys, and I see him coming around the corner, you know. Yeah, it's the bag's a little hot, it's getting a little steamy, daddy's getting a little wet. Yeah. I shit you not, he opens up the window. The second my window gets fully open, I hear like a she's coughing, but like in the car behind me.
Oh no.
Like coughing in the car behind me. And I'm not kidding. I had like genuine terror, like well up in my body. I was just like, oh my God. You know, like I literally had a split second where I was just like, do I take the bag or do I just put the window up and run? Like
there's particles all over this fucking thing.
Yeah, dude, like I understand, like everybody's had that moment, right? Everyone has experienced wanting to kill somebody. But like I have never experienced wanting to kill someone for the greater good. Like you know what I mean? She's like coughing in the back, and I was just like, somebody better snipe this bitch. Like I'm looking up at the sky, being like, yo, can you nerf this woman? Like this, it was fucking great, dude. She could have just like swallowed her spit wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
could have been completely innocuous. Like,
Yeah.
but my first reaction was just like I'm a peasant in the Middle Ages that just discovered that this, this chicken got a boil or something.
We've got weirdly selfish. I mean, but it's we're worried, and we've been told to worry. We've got like, I mean, who the fuck designed this like COVID the paraphernalia? It's fucking scary. It's alarming.
Yeah, it's just white and yellow. Like
that message you get, like the message you get is like,
oh yeah, the civil list,
fucking jarring.
And you find like, what the fuck? But the fucking like eerie thing is like you're in like a supermarket or something, or if you're in a restaurant,
Yeah.
and you sit and it goes, like, what the fuck? And then you start hearing everyone else's phone going,
You just think these wide eyes turn to you, and everyone's just
everyone's just like, what the fuck? Yeah. And you're looking at them and then the exit, and you're just kind of like measuring, you know what I mean?
everyone's edging towards the exit.
Yeah.
Like, who's gonna run first? Who's gonna be?
Yeah, it's like how everyone sizes everyone else up on a plane when there's some turbulence. You know what I mean? Like everybody's just like, I'm looking at all the children and old people. Like, if I gotta get to that like exit, I'm gonna fuck them up.
That's right.
You know
You're
what I
gonna be
mean?
between me and not having COVID and that exit.
The
Fresh
funniest,
baby's got my hands.
yeah, dude, the funniest thing is when like the flight attendants, like, I don't freak out on a plane unless like the flight attendants are freaking out. Like if they're freaking out, I'm gonna freak out.
Yeah.
But I just love it. Like I would love to see a flight attendant, like when there's some turbulence, kind of look at the people and then look at the door. And then kind of look at the people. And then look at the door.
And then look at the fucking how many jetpacks there are.
Yeah. You could fuck somebody up with that little cart that they push down like the middle of the
parachute.
ocean. You know what I mean? They're just like chicken or beef, and you're like chicken. And there's a little bit of turbulence, and they just fucking pimp slap you and like make a run for the fucking door. Dude, okay, I will never ever go like fucking cattle class ever again, bro.
No.
No.
Like why you can afford it.
Yeah, no, like I want to go, if I have to be in cattle class, I want to be at the front of the plane, like
Right.
so in the middle.
Okay, yeah.
Because I remember one time she just coming down, and she's like, "Yo, we have, chicken, blah 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 blah," and it sounds all nice and shit. And then they, the second option was just like, fish piss and squid asshole,
Yeah,
and I'm like, what the fuck? And because the thing is, like, when they get down to like the last quarter of the plane, you don't have a choice.
No.
They just like, so I'm just like chicken or fish. And
You're like, I'm a vegan.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you get.
Yeah. She just shits on a plate and goes, like, but like, yeah, she said chicken and fish. I'm like, yeah, chicken, please. And she goes, we don't have fish. We don't have chicken. I'm like, why would you ask me? Like, just tell me that, you know what I mean? Like, there's.
Just tell me you're not eating today.
Yeah. And they're just like, you've had like 6 wines. We're gonna, because like one on the ground is like 4 in the sky or something.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah. Because like your blood thins or something because of like the pressure. So they don't want to like give you like too much.
Which is a great amount of oxygen in there as well, because they fuck with that. Depending on like what time it is.
Yeah.
And they turn the oxygen down or up.
I have no idea.
Either one.
It's like a terrifying thought. The captain pilots are just like,
woo.
Yeah.
Woo.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain speaking. We've had a couple of complaints about the meal choices today. We just want to thank you for flying American Airlines. And they're just like, everyone's like fucking suffocating.
I think now every time I get on the plane, I hear the captain's voice, and I think of Brendan Love for it. Thanks to that conversation.
It's going to be landing Sydney. Air traffic control says that it's a 9-hour flight, but we're going to try to do it in 6.
Yeah.
Like, I miss it. Like, apparently he's been like, drunk down a lot of people. And I haven't gotten a call yet. And I miss. I kind of am a little bit sad about that. Like, I wanted to call me like 3 a.m. First time it was 9.
You've got you've got a bit of fun.
Yeah, like I wanted to, you know what I mean? What are you doing?
Well, I was at work the other day, and Tim gave me a ring, and because I think they might have been having some little ditty or whatever. And Tim's like, Josh is here, young Josh. But maybe didn't know what young Josh was. Which young Josh was? Maybe they don't. Well, Josh is a very common name. And he didn't say hi, Josh. So I also feel your pain.
Yeah, a little bit. Dude, that fucking short body. It's Speaking of FOMO, dude,
Ooh.
dude, I fucking
Speaking of FOMO.
listen. Listen, it's been like 6 to 8 weeks of like not hanging out with like anyone. If they invited me to a party, I'm fucking going. What are you gonna do? I've got like 60 followers on Instagram. Like
This is my first chance. This is my first interaction.
Yeah,
We're not, you know, I've been interacting very, very frequently with that fucking couch, with that chair.
Did you fuck this couch?
I've been fucking it. No, don't worry, it's clean. I washed out thoroughly.
Hey, it's COVID.
I throw it out the window.
Yeah.
Self-washing.
It's COVID. You don't know to explain yourself to me, but
No.
you know. No, dude. No, I just love how everyone gets like real self-righteous about it. When I'm like, dude, if you got invited to a party, you would legit go. Like, you would go. You would go. You don't fucking lie to me.
I don't like how sort of witch hunty it gets. You know, was she a horse rider and a lawyer, or was he the horse rider and she was the lawyer? You know that wonderful couple.
I never ride son.
Oh yeah.
It's just, you know, sometimes you ever say some shit and you just go like, dude, like we're truly at the end. You know what I mean? You know, yeah, no, like, yeah, that whole thing, like when, yeah.
So self-righteous. It was just such bullshit because you know we all would have done the same thing. And, you know, they made a mistake. They made a mistake. The reign of terror, hell see no fury. Like the Kiwi scorned.
Yeah, it's so weird. Listen. This whole time, everyone's been like, "Oh, we gotta save the vulnerable and the old people." Listen to me. Fuck old people. Okay, listen to me. I fucking work with old people, and everyone's point of reference for old people is like their own grandparents, right?
Right.
Because they're like, "Oh yeah, but she was real nice to me."
Because that's them at their best.
That's them at their best.
That's their grandchildren they're talking to.
Exactly. And grandma was real nice to you, wasn't she? She made you cookies whenever you fucking like. Do you know what a person would do for a chocolate bar in 1943?
Ooh.
Listen, there's a lot of fucking churches around old folks' homes, right? People are trying to make a lot right with God. I have heard the way that these people talk behind closed doors, right? As I'm sitting there at fucking reception / like the lounge thing, right? I've heard the way that they talk. I've heard what like the horrific shit. They will say the most horrific shit and like the lead up to something completely mundane. I'm not even kidding. I literally heard two people over talking. One goes, you know, it was just such a tragedy, you know. Like he just had a little bit of a sore tummy, so he like went to the doctor, and you know it was stage 4 bowel cancer. You know, he was dead 6 weeks later. It was terrible. He had like a 3-year-old. You know, but anyway, that's why I don't eat muesli. You know, it's bad. It's bad for your gut health.
What's that German saying?
Like,
Strobenheim or something like that. Tell me something like that. What? But it's like to take pleasure in other people's
Schadenfreude.
That's the one.
Yeah.
What the fuck did I say? Stegenfeigen.
I don't know what that is. That could be like, yeah.
To me, they're close.
Yeah.
To me,
I mean, it's great to me. No, but it's like, look, and then people are like, we can't keep holding the whole country ransom because like a few people need to get their shit together. You know, and people are like, you know, but like anti-vaxxers, like, yeah, look, let them be anti-vax, bro. The world's been dealing with this pandemic for almost 2 years now. You know what the skinny is? If you get it and you fucking die, you die. Like, stop infantilizing people. And then they kind of like, some people want to die. You know what I mean? Like,
and let them. Let them, we say.
Look, if they want to cough their lungs out to a bedpan in Middlemore, you know, because they didn't want to get, you know, the fucking Pfizer, it's like, just, what are you going to do? Like, you know?
What do you think? What's a high percentage rate of? Ooh, it's a tricky one. You know, where do you think these anti-vaxxers live? Like in comparison to like, who's going to Grafton and who's going to Middlemore? What percentage-wise? Who are we talking? Because you know a lot of like of the lower dim region of the money-making scheme. You know, they're all big anti-vaxxers. Easily.
See, I would have said the opposite. I would have thought that like it would have been like Grafton that like. You know, because they're like, oh no, like I'm anti-vax. I'm not going to.
We know those guys though. We know they exist. We
do know they exist. Hey, the main thing, I'm just kidding. We all right in and they're just like, what the fuck did he say? Well, I bet he did go to that fucking influencer party on the north. Yeah, but I just fucking hate like the broad brushing.
I was at the rally.
yeah, you just ramp up. What an unfortunate day to go for a run. You're like, yeah, man, I'm jogging, what the fuck? No, but like the broad brushing when people were like, this shows the privilege and the fucking like of the North Shore, and I'm like, You got fucking broad, like, do you know how many like areas are in the North Shore? Like, you got broad brush everybody like
Right,
that. Not
yeah,
everybody's fucking entitled. Half of us just, if you walk into any house on the North Shore, you're gonna find a dad that's checked out, a mom that really loves fucking wine and interior designing. A kid that's gonna be face fucking down, and a girl that goes to Kingsway College and loves the Lord because she doesn't fucking know any better. Like, that's gonna be that's the main demographic when you go like, you know what I mean? It's not like, stop.
I know what you mean. I mean, yeah.
The thing I hate about like the whole privilege thing, people are like, oh, he's privileged. It's like, yeah, dude, life's unfair.
It certainly is.
Like, when did that stop being a bad thing? Listen, have you met some people? You'll thank God that they suck. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, thank God like that. Thank God that guy didn't get handed $1 million in the lottery. Then he has to go and inflict himself on like Instagram in front of like 500,000 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, privilege sucks. Yeah, for sure.
I like it.
But I mean, it also doesn't suck.
Yeah,
it can suck, and if other things can suck as well. So brain cancer. Brain cancer sucks.
Brain cancer. There's someone with brain cancer right now being like, that's a fucking understatement, bro. This is horrific.
How dare you compare it to I think we have 0 followers.
You compare living on the North Shore to having brain cancer? There's a stuff article the next day. It's like, just Jones of Auckland City said that. And you're just like, what the fuck?
Come at me. Yeah, that's how I made it. That's that. That's that family we're talking about.
Yeah,
because no one gives a shit about two fucking idiots just talking shit.
No.
But if we're of some sort of standing, some sort of social standing, then then they're gonna file complaints.
I would love to see an honest prime minister. Like, I would love to see just like Jacinda Ardern come out one day and be like, all right, listen to me, fucking morons. Right? You have no idea how the fuck this works. Right?
We make hard, all right?
Yeah. She's like, listen to me.
Turn it out to here.
Yeah. She's like, listen to me. A country earns money 2 ways. We either tax the fuck out of everybody or we make more business. Now, you fucking retards have done absolutely fuck all for the last 8 weeks. I swear to God. We cannot raise taxes because we're already taxing about as much as we can. All right, before everybody riots. All right. We gotta start selling dairy. Every man, woman, and child is gonna get a fucking picture. You gotta sell it to somebody else. We have to stimulate this fucking economy. And just be honest. Like, when someone asks her, like, hey, what about this plan or this or that or the other? And she's just like, swear to God, if you ask me that again, I'm gonna have you thrown out. Like, because some of the questions that they ask are like so fucking dumb.
Oh, they are. I feel like they're almost like scripted. It's like they almost know what is coming.
Yeah.
But they ask the same sort of question every time. It's not like it sort of deviates. It's like, so you said this, and they even said like a dumb answer. I mean, to be honest, I haven't been watching these press conferences. I haven't been watching any of these press conferences for the last while. I've just been reading the title underneath.
I think everyone stopped giving a shit.
Same shit every time. It's like, bad news.
Dude, the first ones where everyone was so invested, and one of my favorite moments was when like this one woman was just like, so Miss Ramos, is the Easter Bunny exempt the COVID restrictions? And you could see for a second her face just like drop and be like, why the fuck would you ask me that? And then but it's just for a second, and she goes, yes, the Easter Bunny has got an exemption. Don't worry about it.
That was a good Jacinda. That was a good Jacinda smile.
Yeah, it was a good.
Yeah, you've been practicing. I feel like we've got a
She kind of smiles like this. It's like, you can tell she fucking hates you when you ask her that shit. She goes, the tough thing is that we have to give a shit, and really nobody does, and least of all me. Can you imagine if I get found dead? No, dude, like, honest to God, that must be such a hard job, because like I reckon the best system would be, because everyone wants a dictator that they agree with. You know what I mean?
And it doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, exactly.
There's only 3 or 4 sums the same.
I think what's going to happen though, because like houses have been like unaffordable like longer than they've been affordable in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
Like the house I started when I was 12.
Right. We're now 24, 26.
Yeah. So like,
time to move.
What do you say to that? Like when people are like, hey, how are we going to make housing affordable? And you're like, how the fuck should I know? Like,
Oh,
I have no idea.
we're still just being able to communicate properly with it.
Yeah.
Just still getting like a basic grasp of that.
I'm so keen to like open the waters up though and just like
And just leave.
just leave, just buy it.
I mean, Melbourne's okay.
Yeah.
Why not Melbourne? So I was thinking, we move to America, like next year. But why don't we stop in Australia and try like comedy out there for a little while?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, fuck, mate. Oh, really fucking good.
you know they're gonna be less sensitive than they are here.
True. Yeah, it's really like weirdly like so.
I've been getting in trouble.
Yeah. You've been getting up there. You've been saying some shit. Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I
It's
first
a little
started.
wild on stage. He says some horrific shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's horrific, but I feel like I'm trying to be funny.
Yeah.
I've been told,
There was you can't be faulted for intent.
no, you're giving it a go, and it's what we find funny, and who's to say what you find funny is what I find funny, and vice versa. Right?
People have gotten upset for like at me for shit that I've said on stage. But like,
I mean, you've had a sexual, you've almost had like a sexual sort of thingy.
I got molested.
Well, there's that, but
No. But someone legit like complained about some shit that I said.
Right.
I can't remember what it was, but like
An audience member or something like that. Wasn't it?
Yeah. And I was just like, wait, but here's the thing, like the whole like all the way through, like it was like people laughed. It wasn't like I was there and I was just like, Hitler did nothing wrong. And then people are like, wait, you like that record scratch moment? Like it was just like a show. And then like one person happened to be like, yeah, like I find that offensive. I think they said on a sexual level.
Yeah.
Which like I found really hard to like not laugh at. Because can you imagine being like, listen, on a sexual level, I find that very offensive. I'm gonna be making love to my wife.
Let's talk about depraved sort of selfishness though, and like
It was just weird. It's like, but you knew this was a comedy.
You were
like,
talking to me, but I mean, like how depraved that is when it comes to like how specific you like. No, you're talking to me with that. Like, you're talking to me specifically.
There was 30 people in here. Like, got 30 people in one room. It's hard to fathom now. You know,
that's what we're dealing with New Zealand comedy. Sometimes we've got 30, sometimes we've got 8 comedians.
Yeah, sometimes we've got like 8 mentally ill people that decide to come out on a fucking Thursday.
So let's talk about the Thirsty Dog.
I rate the Thirsty Dog though. I love it. I just there have been a couple of times when like I've walked in and there's only like 8 people there who are the comedians and they're like, oh shit, what the fuck? I'm like, hey, and they're like, yo, we're having like what do they call it? Like a workshop night. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm gonna grab something from my car. And then I just dude, I did that one time. I rocked up to an open mic and it was just the comedians. And I wasn't on the bill or anything. But I just went in there to see if I could get a spot. And they were like, oh, what's up? And I'm like, hey man, how you doing? He goes, yeah, no, nobody came. We're just gonna do like a workshop, a workshop night. And I was like, oh, sick, yeah, no, that's really cool. I'm gonna grab something from my car. And I walk out, I walk right across the street, I hop in my car, I turn it on, and then I look over and I realize that it's literally at eye level with like the window. And all of them are looking at me, just get in my car, like turn it on and drive away. Like, what was I gonna do? Like, it would be more awkward to like hop out.
I'm just reparking. Just give me a sec.
Yeah.
I'm just turning it.
Fucking awkward, dude. So like, just sometimes though, like, because people ask me all the time, they're like, so what's your approach? Like, how do you just kind of get up there and do shit? I'm like, I have very little regard for what people think or feel.
Right.
Like I'm just going out there to make me laugh. Like literally 90% of the shit that I ever say is like just to make me laugh, and other people happen to find it funny as well.
I think the tricky thing with like some New Zealand audiences as well, and like not a lot of them are there to watch comedy. I mean, a lot of places we perform are at bars where people are drinking, and they're like, "Oh, this thing's happening over in the corner." Like there's like sort of like it's like a band playing that you didn't subscribe for.
Yeah.
A lot of the times you're not paying for tickets. I know that's the case a lot with the corner store, and you kind of go there with the intention, right, I'm going to make these people laugh, and they didn't come with the intention of laughing. They came with the intention to have a few beers, and all of a sudden there's things happening in the background, and now you're being forced to watch it and hear some fucking whatever.
Yeah.
And your content might be a little bit.
That is honestly like my favorite fucking time. Right. Like when there's just like 8 people, everyone's just hanging out. Just doing comedy to like each other. And then like 2 friends come in who just want to catch up over a beer. or a fucking like, you know, Cosmopolitan. And then like whoever's on stage just happens to like latch onto them. And they keep asking, it's like you can tell they don't want to be there. They're like too polite to leave, you know. So they're like, oh, so what are your names? Oh, Cheryl and Claire. No, lovely. Hey, Cheryl, Claire, have you ever seen the moon? Yeah. Well, let me tell you a story. Well, I saw the moon once, you know.
It's like a Joe Bryant.
Hey. I fucking love that guy, dude.
He's doing it upside down.
Yeah. I would love to see him just like suspended, like upside down, and he just does like his full set.
I want to see a full set with just like a headstand. Slowly rotate.
Yeah.
He's got a strong neck.
He's got a strong neck. He's like that's a strong neck.
And he's a big guy as well. So hold all that weight on that neck. I mean, just like a normal size guy, like a guy our size, doing a headstand. I mean, you know, I guess it's proportionate. I'm getting off topic.
Yeah, probably someone wise to be talking about people. Like they're gonna watch this and be like, "What the fuck?"
We do love Joe Bryant. He's a good guy. He's very motivated.
It's okay. We're gonna edit this out.
I remember once. We're not doing any editing. I remember once I performed at the Thirsty Dog, and there were, you know, like you said, there were 8 comedians in the audience, and there were like maybe 6 audience members. They were at like 2 different tables. There was one table of 4, and I was doing my set, bombing just the whole way through. Hey, you might have even been there. Pretty sure you were there. Yeah. Actually, no, I don't. Anyway, I don't think you were there. I'm bombing all the way through, basically. But like this one guy that I caught out of like my corner of my eye, he was loving my shit, but he fucking wouldn't laugh. Like he was just going, and he was smiling. He was giving me sort of like these like little like gestures that he liked my jokes. And it might have been once where it just like he laughed out loud. This might have been all something that I created in my head as a delusion, but this guy fucking liked he liked my stuff, and it was basically I was just performing to him. And yeah, that's probably one of my favorite performances there. But just completely bombed the whole way through. He was there from the outside. But this fucking one guy, you know, so it was like 1 out of 6 of the crowd, which is whatever percentage that is.
Yeah.
Like 15% or whatever it was. Was actually really feeling like my performance. But yeah, funny little anecdote there.
I love those shows. I just love like kind of being there and just watching people like recoil and mark. You know what I mean? Like I just love that moment where people are like, oh, this guy doesn't give a shit. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Remember that dude that we saw at the Raw Comedy? He came on, and he's the guy, very good looking guy, blonde hair, whatever. Comes on, he's just basically mumbling mumbo jumbo for like the first 30 seconds to a minute. Just like you go, that dude, remember that? Yeah. And then, you know, a minute in, like, I was fucking with you guys, but that was great, man. I really enjoyed it.
Really fucking talented, like genuinely, like I saw him actually at like Burger Fuel. Yeah, it was like socially distanced Burger Fuel. He's like standing outside. I'm like standing outside Subway, and I kind of look at him, and like I got a mask on, but like I know he knows, and he knows I know. We didn't say shit.
Oh no!
Like, but it was just kind of like you know, it was kind of like it wasn't like we were like exes or anything, but it was kind of just like
Or it's like you both fucked the same girl.
Yeah, but like you know, like 15 years ago. It's like, but you kind of not even really friends. That like you just kind of used to know a guy. It was just weird. I was just kind of running through the 6 with this shit. And I was just like, yeah, no, should I say hi? You know what I mean? I was like, no, it's not.
You're both going through the same sort of motions. He looks like he's probably about the same age as you, or the same age as us, maybe a bit younger.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's hard to talk people's ages now.
Yeah,
because some people look like shit, and some people have moisturized.
Oh,
for the last like 15 years.
Yeah. There was this fucking guy. I think it was maybe on. Yeah, it was. Remember that same night that we saw that guy on. We watched that guy at the Raw Comedy Fest, and I was sitting with another dude.
Yes.
He was another comedian that we.
I know that guy. Yeah.
That dude is fucking like 35 or some shit.
Yeah.
That dude's like 36 years old.
Yeah.
But he, you know, and he's got like a beard or whatever. No, I think he's like 24 or 25. but he looks like he's fucking 32.
Now we're blocked.
Well, he knows that.
This is how we got blacklisted. Like it just starts to like a roll credit. Jay Wilson said, we were in.
Yeah, that made it seem like we're just like talking shit about it. I think it's actually in his in his act where he's just like, oh, I'm this age, and everyone's like, whoa, because he looks
Yeah,
he
that's
looks older
right.
than
Yeah,
he
it
is.
looks really, yeah.
I think that's I think it was at the same bit. But,
Yeah, I remember that bit.
we've gone off topic. Do you think this was a good podcast?
I think so.
Do you think it's been going on?
That was really good.
I wonder how long it's been because I don't remember it. I don't remember looking, but I've got like in the back of my mind, I've got this horrifying feeling that the recording stopped or like the audio is fucked out.
We can check and then just splice it back in.
I think we should just let it be. And if it's a test show,
Let it be.
if it's a test show, it's a test show.
Okay.
You saw the Dave Chappelle special?
Dude, I did.
You did? What'd you think of it? You've heard of the backlash?
I didn't hear about the backlash. I just watched it and went to bed.
He's trying to be cancelled. Everyone's trying to be cancelled. For me, it was a bit preachy, but it was also very, very fun. He obviously had like a bone to pick of the and it was a transgender bone, whether it was bone or boneless.
Yeah.
I
wonder how much it would be to license that song.
Payment. I'm not sure, but I heard that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia theme song going on over an ad the other day.
Oh,
Are you It's Always Sunny fan?
I am. I've watched it in a long time.
I was actually rewatching it recently. It was actually what I was watching when I broke my laptop. I dropped a bottle on my laptop for the viewers at home, all the many viewers. My curtain's fucking out.
The scores of viewers.
My TV is also in the same shape as my laptop. I'm a Kevin Spacey House of Cards. I'm full of fun.
I've been watching that card.
Yeah,
So good.
he's very good. He puts on a great summer.
Dude. It's a good fucking show. Yeah.
Was that a Brendan?
No.
No. It's Philip.
Oh, Frank Underwood. What, you think I didn't have him? You think I just let him be out there somewhere? It's like you don't know me at all. I just love that little soliloquies to the audience. Yeah.
Like Mike Flanagan soliloquy. I've got a bone coming back.
I have no idea who that is.
You know, something Flanagan. Mike Flanagan, not
Mickey.
Mark.
Mickey?
Mickey? No, I think it's Mike. Not Mickey Flanagan, the comedian. Right?
Yeah.
Mike Flanagan, he wrote The Haunting Hill House.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Mike? Am I fucking that up?
It's not Mitchell.
It's not Mitchell. It's not Mickey.
Yeah, probably Mike.
I think Mike. I think it's Mike. I watched his most recent stint, which was the what was it? It was that one I was talking to you about? The Gospel. Yeah, the Midnight Gospel.
The Midnight.
The Midnight Gospel.
The
Midnight
Midnight Mass.
The Midnight Mass.
Yeah.
The Midnight Mass.
So I watched that. Basically, it's there's 3 or 4 of those long soliloquies. In the Haunting of Hill House, because you didn't see the Midnight Mass, right?
Yes.
You didn't see it.
No, I've seen it. Seen the whole thing.
What do you think about that? To me, it feels like a writer's wank fest. It's just like like here are all these great put together gospels and we're such fantastic writers, and there's all these really slow close ups, and it's like they're all just wanking each other off.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I personally think that it was really well done.
The wank fest.
The wank fest, but the twist as well. A lot of I saw it coming in episode 4 or 5.
I was very late. I was almost after the twist.
Yeah, no, I saw it coming maybe 4 or 5. Because I think it's episode 5, spoilers, where you find out when he's praying and he's talking about Monsignor Pruitt and out in the desert, and then when you see what happens to him,
Right.
and when he wakes up,
That was foreshadowing, yeah.
Yeah,
That was definitely foreshadowing.
but it was in that moment that I was just holy fuck, I know what's happened.
Right.
You know what I mean?
This is the same person.
Yeah, with the whole thing. So I was just like, holy shit. And so I think it was really well done. Like the way that like the characters got younger,
Right.
like bit by bit by bit. Like if
That old bird.
yeah, no, like because if you were like if you weren't kind of paying attention, you wouldn't even really notice just how smooth that transition was. Because if you go back to the first episode, if you like watch the last one and then you watch the first one, it's like night and day, dude. But like you kind of almost don't notice it all the way through.
I suppose you're not noticing it when like the twist hasn't been sort of revealed.
Yeah,
You're not noticing like the slight
Yeah.
changes.
just a little thing, dude. Hair and makeup must be a fucking bitch on that
Right.
fucking production. Can you imagine him coming from the writers' room being like, "Yeah, listen, you know, I mean, we're gonna this is fucking what the thing's about, and we're gonna fucking need you to do this," and then just like, how the fuck are we gonna scale the hair and makeup? Like, not even by like a little bit, but like fucking degrees, dude. Like fractional degrees. Every fucking dude. Sometimes like 2 or 3 times in an episode,
Yeah.
you will
yeah.
see the same person.
Especially that old bird. You know what I'm talking about. The one,
Yeah.
the one with the ice outside.
Yeah, dude. Even the guy's parents, dude. Like
Oh,
in
yeah,
the same
yeah.
episode, sometimes you'll just like fractional fucking like little fucking increases.
You know
And it's
how
not until you
you know,
go back that you're like,
Mm.
holy shit! Like, and you watch for it, you're like, oh fuck.
I think you must have been the same because like with the Haunted of Hill House, the Hill House watches, you would have like seen that dad at the start of the show and you were like, oh fuck, he's got old. And it was very nice to see him get a lot
Yeah.
younger because I'm like, I was thinking, that was just like 2 years ago.
Holy shit! Like, I know you maybe like the wank fest, like it is a little bit wank, and he's just like, oh, it's like yeah. And you're
Well, maybe I'm being pessimistic. It's not the religious part. It's just like the way that the soliloquies, because there's so many of them, that they were put
Yeah.
together. You're just like, man, I was skipping them.
Yeah, it's but like, yeah, no, I thought it was really well done, even if it was a little bit wanky in some points. Like,
no, I think you're right. I enjoyed it. I think I was probably just being a bit pessimistic towards the end. I'm like, man, I feel like like because it was always a religious rant, especially from it was like, oh man, like it was either the preacher dude, I forget his name.
the preacher man.
It was always him or like the old lady that everyone hates, or it was like the main actor. It was the protagonist or his female. It was like them. They were talking about death. The death stuff, and like what is death to you, and then just like going on this big sort of philosophical rant about death and for that.
Yeah, there were a couple of moments like that where it just got a little bit hard to fucking watch through it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like every little, because like there were like some, because I kind of feel like if you took those bits out, it'd be like perfect.
Oh yeah.
But there's just a couple of moments where it's just like, okay, I understand like you as a writer think this about death.
Yeah.
And there probably is no other vehicle than to like have someone just say that shit.
Right.
How are you gonna show that on screen? So like, I don't know. But dude, like the whole thing with like the woman and like the police lights and how he's standing, dude, that bit, because
Woman on the police lights. Catch me out.
the guy that, because the guy who comes home and it's just his mom at the dock.
Oh.
And then like every time he's falling asleep, she's
That
kind of
kid,
like watching
the kid.
him. Yeah, the kid.
Mhm.
Bro,
That was
bit-
tough.
that was tough. But dude, like, because things like that in film are often like a metaphor.
Right.
And then like that one moment, I think it's like episode like 4 or 5, where he's just kind of like lying there and he's looking at her and he's just like, how was your day? You know what I mean? It was just like oh shit. But dude, going back to Hill House, I reckon Hill House is number 1, Midnight Mass is number 2, and then like Bly Manor was number 3.
Bly sucked.
Bly kind of sucked.
Bly sucked. We can
Bly
all agree with
kinda
that.
sucked.
It wasn't good. Well, I mean, it's hard not to compare.
It's hard.
If it was by itself, who knows what like our opinion would have been on it. But
Holy shit and fuck though. Like Hill House has got so much stuff packed into it. Like you gotta watch the thing 2 or 3 times to get all the little nuances.
I'm glad I'm not a dumbass, and like I'm also on that.
Like just in general, like
No, yeah. I'm glad I'm not a dumbass.
Yeah,
But, no, I definitely am. But yeah, no, I'm glad not. We're on the same train there because they were like. I mean, I'm also like going on forums. I'm like, oh, do you like see this? I'm like, no, I did not see that. And like,
Just go full chat, just like ask like /B, and you're just like, yo, do you see this?
like the clockmaker, all those people went there.
Dude.
My favorite scene was where the dad and the oldest son were driving to Hill House at the end, and like he's still like convinced. The oldest dad. He's like, rah rah rah, you're a piece of shit, and he's like, there was no tree house, there was no this, there was no that. And he's just like coming to it like, oh shit.
Yeah, dude, like. You ever swallow some shit wrong? People like COVID. No, dude, like
you went to Wendy's that time.
yeah. Hey, listen, I was in the line at KFC. This fucking bitch just started coughing. No,
Vaccination.
yeah. Well, if you're gonna catch it anyway. No, but dude, like,
The 12 spice.
dude, that nurse that got on fucking TV, that Australian nurse, and she's
so-
like, listen. We've had a lot of people, she was straight up as fuck. She was like, listen, we've had a lot of people come in through the ICU and they've got COVID. We put them on the ventilator and they have fucking begged for a vaccine, but it's too late at that point. Get the fucking vaccine. And we're like, what the fuck? You not see that Australian nurse?
No, I can't.
Oh, she fucking like,
Yeah.
everyone was taken aback. Like, just because it's the thing, like, you work in a job that's like so fucking horrifying like that.
Right.
But you see people like, if you're an ICU nurse or you're like an ER nurse,
Mm.
you see people coming in like all mangled up and shit. You see a guy come in and shit with a SWAT sticker, and it's just like, what the fuck? They get jaded. Fuck. So she was like super hard. But going back to Hill House, if you watch it for a second time, there was like ghosts, fucking all throughout that shit, like all throughout the house. And if you just watch the background, like you'll see people like turn around, and you'll see like you know, like all that kind of stuff.
And the clockmaker as well was doing that.
It wasn't until I watched like a couple of video essays about it that I was just like,
I was the same.
holy shit! And I went back to watch it.
That. And I can't
So
really
much fun.
remember that. And you rewatched it.
The only thing was though that like, the only problem I had with it was like the younger sister Nellie.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
She was annoying to you.
No, she wasn't annoying. She was played by that woman whose mouth stretches real big. Like she's very beautiful and she's very proportional. But like, have you ever seen her in that show You?
Yes.
And then she like opens her mouth and it just like opens like really big. And you're like, wow, like if she wanted to take a bite out of you, like it's gonna be a big bite, bro. Like if she ever looked over and was like, hey, can I have a bite of your Five Guys? I'd be like, no, because you're gonna like eat all of it, dude. Like in one bite, fucking animal style. But no, dude, like
I'm gonna have to cheekily take a piss.
yeah, she really take a bit.
Oh. And then we continue on.
Yeah, so
It's gotta be an hour.
Too. How you doing? Well, it looks like it's just me. Isn't it weird, you know, that you grew up? The chances of you being here are so fucking low. There had to be a big bang. What were the chances of that? And the chances that a universe would form, and the chances that there would be a planet that grew just the right space away from the sun for there to be life, happened to get water. And then you happen to be the sperm that won the race. The fact that life developed at all is a fucking miracle. But then the human race evolved. What were the chances of that? And then you were the sperm that won the race. But not just that race. You won the race out of every sperm, every load that your dad ever dumped into your mom. And you're watching me. Life's a horror, isn't it? For sure.
Very good. Successful, man. We hold man for the last about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. With the bladder of a child. We're talking about Hell House. It's a fantastic show. The foreshadowing is fantastic, especially in retrospect when you finally get back to it.
Yeah.
You got any books you're working on?
Not really. I've just been doing lockdown, being face down mostly.
Got a bit of a bit I was working on. It was about like it starts off with sort of like an off take of another bit where I talk about like work personalities and how they're socially acceptable and how that's a lot of shit. And it's basically like you can be a dick or you can like have schizophrenia, which is you get to pick one. You can be an asshole or you can have a chronic brain disorder.
Right.
Like, what's acceptable? You've got like a death in the family or of a friend. You're going through a menopause. or like you're a piece of shit. Like,
Yeah. If I get told to be kind one more fucking time,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fly a Cessna into like Albert Park, bro.
Assassin.
A Cessna, like one of those planes. I'm gonna have to go to this as well.
oh, please.
Is it just down to the left?
Yeah, so it's left and then your first right. How this is going? Best thing I think is going well. You watch this. What have we talked about?
I guess we will have to edit this.
Yeah, I suppose we will. For the better, though.
Did you speak when I was gone?
Yeah. We had a good conversation, didn't we? Yeah. Life's the horror.
It certainly is. It certainly is. That's the thing.
What the fuck is happening right now? You know? Listen to me, there's a fucking football spinning around a ball of fire that apes grew on. And now we have to get a mortgage.
Mm.
Is that a fuck? Like, does the math not add up? Am I an asshole? Or like, does the math not add up?
It's like we're all just figuring out like where to get that mortgage. Well, where is my patch?
Yeah.
Like, which part is it?
Yeah, it's a bit of an ASB then.
What else is going on? You heard those shoes? Shoes. Those shoes are going to talk. It's not going to be a long talking point, but I saw this ad last night about these shoes that like make you at like 2.9 inches tall. 2.9 inches tall. Okay, that gets you and I to like the 5'11" range. I'm 6 foot.
That puts me at 6 foot. Yeah.
Oh, you're a 5'10" then?
5'10".
Yeah.
So 2.9 inches, that'd be just about 6 foot.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. 5'10".
I think I was gonna try and like get this into like the realm of like a reverse body shaming almost, or it is
Right.
or it is actual body shaming.
Yeah. So you just walk around being like, "Hey, you short fuck," like to short men, women, and children.
We've got our own heels fun. Well, guys used to wear heels. Guys used to wear these big fucking heels.
I saw this funny as fuck video of like this guy talking to this girl in a bar, and he's like on his tiptoes, like leaning up against the bar. He's on his fucking tiptoes, and she's talking to him, and he's all like, and he is just the same height as her.
Hilarious.
Like, and I just felt so bad. I was just like, oh, dude, that's gotta suck. Like,
You've spoken to Brooke before from Eye to Eye.
yeah.
She's a tall girl.
She's tall, yeah.
And she loves the heels.
Yeah, she's pretty tall, yeah. Yeah, which I always find funny. Like, I always like people like, I like tall women. Like, I once dated a girl that was like a head taller than me.
Yeah.
It was fucking great.
I think the first girl I ever dated was a head taller than me.
Yeah.
We don't really have much of a choice in the option.
Yeah, this is when we find out that you got like hell on a list and you're like 11 or something.
These are both my teachers.
Yeah, well.
I think most of them are dead have been taller.
Yeah, how tall are you?
I think I'm not 5'10". I think I must be like 5'8".
5'8".
5'8", 5'9" on Tinder.
Okay. Cool. 5'9". I like that. I'm 5'8", I'm 5'9" on Tinder.
And like it's not even what they want. Yeah, like the improvement that I've just like gone to.
Yeah.
It's not something that's gonna register like 90% of women. They're like 5'9". What are you thinking? Small midget piece of shit.
5'9" is like, I think 5'8" is like average height.
Yeah.
Like
Overall.
5'7", 5'8", yeah.
Well, like in the spectrum of Asians and speaking of Asians, we're looking at a yellow Christmas, I think, with Corona being the way it is. I mean,
Yellow Christmas.
I thought it was hilarious.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Do you know the comedian Bobby Lee?
We fucking eating dumplings, bro. Christmas morning. Yeah, I know Bobby.
He had a guest on, and he asked him if he watched Yellow Mirror. And it was just like this real awkward like silence beforehand. He said, you see Yellow Mirror? Talking about Black Mirror. I feel like a subliminal. Yeah, things are not looking good for New Zealand. Well,
No.
Auckland specifically.
Yeah, Auckland specifically, just in general.
This has been a very COVID esque episode of the podcast for the first episode. Maybe we should.
We just edit the best bits together.
We can. I don't think there's going to be much editing.